welcome to another video with the girl next door. If you are here for the first time, welcome to Mindset and Magic, and this is a space where we discuss everything on personal development, growth, and of course self-love and self-care. And today I wanted to have a very important conversation with you. I wanted to talk about identifying and overcoming self-love blocks. And as you guys know, I've been on this journey for some time now, just really like loving myself and getting to the core of who I am, learning more about myself each and every day, and really like being happy, truly happy on the inside. And I found that 2020 was such a rough year for me. This year I sat back and I was like, wow, Shanae, like the things that you accepted into your space, the things that you allowed, the things that you stood for. And of course I promised, and one of the things that I've learned not to do is to speak negative to myself. So I'm like, okay, like these are some of the things you did, but no more. Like, we learned our lesson, we'll know better next time. And yeah, like that's how growth works. You live and you learn. The reason why I wanted to talk about self-love blocks, and I wanted you guys to tell me if you're experiencing this too. Like, have you ever, like, you know what you're supposed to do. You know your self-care practices. You know you have to go to the beach and relax, and you know you need downtime. You know that you should practice mindfulness, basically express gratitude. You know all the things that you're supposed to do, but for some reason, you still feel this negativity or this off vibe down on the inside. And I don't know, like I've been feeling that, and it forced me to examine my actions and my thought processes, and basically to identify what my blocks are. What are the things that are stopping me or hindering my self-love journey? What are some of the things that are stopping me to feel peace on the inside? And that is why I wanted to talk about this today. So I identified 3 things so far. And as I go along, you guys can tell me if you can relate to these things. If you are feeling this way, if these things happen to be your blocks as well, or also if I've missed any that you can share with me, that I probably missed. So let's dive into one of the things that I recognize about myself is that my self-esteem is not as high as I would love it to be. And there are 2 reasons why I'm going to say this. One, I find that every time I'm about to make a big decision, I always talk to my friends and family about it. And I asked myself the other day, are you seeking an opinion or validation? And I had to be honest. And I said, okay, because when they give you an answer that you don't like, then you end up changing stuff. And that's not how an opinion works. So basically, are you really searching for an opinion or validation? Also, I think how that came about is, from my previous relationship. And I've mentioned this before in some of my videos. The last relationship I was in, I experienced a lot of things that I felt that, okay, in that space, Shanae, you should have known better. You saw this coming. How did you feel to see that? And then I really had to put myself in a positive space and say, well, you live and you learn. You didn't know any better at the time. You were not in the same space you are now. You have chance to grow and not to make those mistakes again. But from my past experience, I think my decision making, when people say it's hard to trust again after a relationship, after a bad breakup, I think it was hard to trust myself, or to trust my decisions, or to trust my needs or my wants, because I felt like I kept making the wrong decisions with that relationship, and somehow my self-esteem went a bit low. Also, I felt like I started to allow the love that I got from that person to be the love that I thought that I deserve, or the love that I felt that I would only receive. And that was the last love for me. This was it for me. This was basically what I was going to get. And I never recognized that I was lowering my self-esteem and my self-worth every time I allow this person to come back to my space. I think growing up as well, you know, you experience certain things, and more and more each day, the love that you receive becomes a blueprint of how you should be loved and the love that you will accept. And one of the things that I had to do, and one of the things I'm continuing to do at this point and working so hard to do, is to not take anyone emotions personally. And when I say that, I mean, like, I needed to understand that the way a person loves me has nothing to do with me, but everything to do with how they are loved and how they love themselves. And that is something that is one of my biggest lessons for 2020. To not, because I found myself like saying, you know, am I not worth it? What about me is so wrong? About me do I need fixing? Am I going to make this, is this going to be a good decision? Maybe I should ask my friend. And somehow I recognized that I had a low self-esteem, and it was basically blocking me from loving who I was and being happy and contented with who I was to the core, and confident and comfortable with myself. Another block that I had, and this one is not so much of a thought but an action, and that is called the art of letting go. And I want to take my time with this one. The art of letting go. You know, like, you do so much work, you read, you go to the beach, you relax, you practice mindfulness, you don't respond to certain things. You know that you are walking in your self-care journey, right? But for some reason, you still feel anxious. For some reason, you still feel messy in the inside. For some reason, something just feels off. And you guys can let me know if you feel that too, but I haven't been experiencing that. And one of the things I had to recognize is this. I created this space. I created a space full of positivity and light. I did the work, right? I did the work to reach where I am mentally, a space full of joy, positive light, energy, love. And I did that, but I'm still holding my hand back for the things and people that made me feel low. And I get into this space, like this is really big for me. I get into this space and I say, wow, I understand now. I understand why this person is acting that way, because they haven't experienced this space. They haven't experienced like joy and self-love and positive light. And I reach my hand out and I pull them into my space, hoping that my space will somehow or magically influence them or encourage them to work on themselves and to love themselves and to be positive and to be happy and to be filled with light, to see all the things in life that are meant to rejoice and feel grateful for. But instead of doing that, this person spreads their negativity into my space. And guys, this is one of the other lessons that I've learned. It is so important. It is so important you have to be wary of what you let into your space when you're trying to be on a different wave, when you're trying to be in a more positive light. You have to be so conscious of what you allow in your space, because it's like you created something, it's yours, and you now need to protect that. And there's some people out there that are filled with so much negativity that they can spill it anywhere and not recognize that they missed, that any is gone. And that that is something that you need to watch out for, something that I need to be wary of, and understanding that you cannot grow unless you peel, unless you let go of certain things in order to be really where you want to be. And one of the things, I mean, I grew up hearing this, and I think I grew up and while hearing it, it like did that. It came through my ear and then went out my mouth. Like I gave it as advice, but I never really held it in my mind. Like if you're in a space with two people, if you're in a space with someone for a long period of time and this person is in your life, one of you starts to rub off on the other. And if you recognize that you are not rubbing off on this person, then it's time to take a look in the mirror. And I've always heard that, but I don't think I really held it. I held on to it. I would tell it to people, but I don't think I ever really like held on to it. And that is something that I want to start doing. The final thing, one of my other blocks that I have identified so far is more of a thought process, and that's like I deserve this type of mentality. I think that some of the things that I went through this year kind of put me in the mindset of, okay, I did this and I did that in my past, so maybe I deserve this. Maybe I deserve to be treated this way. And you know, like for me to sit down and to share with someone all the things that I've been through, the things that I've experienced, the things that really like shook me and hurt me, and for this person to turn around and do some of those things to me, or even worse than that, then it really put me in the mindset of, okay, maybe that's what I deserved. Again, playing with my self-esteem and my self-worth. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I deserve this. But then I had to come to a point where I recognized that, Shanae, like, you have built this relationship with God and He has forgiven you for your sins. So why are you still holding things that He forgive you for above your head? Why are you still thinking that you deserve this and you deserve that when He has released you from those things? And I really had to start shaping my mindset a bit, like really you know, not letting my past or anything that I've been through define who I am or how I see myself. And just really, really, really knowing and shaping what I deserve or what I think, you know, how I think I should be treated. And yeah, basically that's three of the things that I have noticed, I have identified as my blocks, and some of the things that I will definitely be working on over 2021. And really just, you know, like building, setting a foundation for myself, because how I love myself is how people will see me, and they will say, well, okay, I see how this girl loves herself, so maybe I need to bring a bit more to the table. And even if they don't, you know, you don't hold it against them, because maybe they just couldn't love you the way that you wanted them to, and that's fine. So yeah, tell me, what are your blocks? Do you guys have any of these blocks that you need to clear as well? Are there any other blocks that you find are hindering you from like really loving yourself, from really going on your self-love journey? Yeah.